Hi, it's Donna from Simple Online Solutions, and today we're going to have something a little bit different. It's been a few weeks since we've done an interview, and my very good friend who's been up here staying with me decided that the table should be turned on me. So today I'm going to introduce to you my friend called Kerrin Addis, and she's actually from Captured Live, and I'd like to welcome you to the call, Kerrin. How are you today?
Great, Donna. How are you?
Good. So I'm going to hand the reins over to you. And you're doing the interviewing, and I'm going to be the subjectee. That should be fun, shouldn't it?
Yes. I'm a bit nervous, though.
Why would you be nervous? You're so good.
How you are. Anyway, I was just so excited to see that your Facebook page has got over 1,000 likes, and I thought, what a great job. And, we met back in 2004 at an internet marketing conference. And we were learning a lot back in those days, weren't we?
Well, for me, I'd been online a little while because I'd managed a hosting company and domain name company, but I'd always struggled to kind of make $1 online. And we went to Ed Dale, who's running that 30-day challenge today as we speak course again. And I remember you were sitting behind me and gorgeous Frank Kern was up on the stage, so we had something to look at, some eye candy, and it was just a whole new world.
It was a fun event, and, we came away from that thinking, we're going to be rich, we're going to make a lot of money.
And I think we did.
And I remember that one of the best things that we did was we sort of supported each other by talking on Skype every day to keep each other going and, sharing lessons learned and, how did this work for you?
Yeah, that's true because I think once we discovered Skype, we were kind of like inseparable buddies because for me it was such that learning curve and trying to learn things like HTML or what is, FTPs and all those kind of geeky words and being able to bounce it off somebody else because you can't do it on your own. And I know for a lot of work at home parents or just even people working from home in small businesses, that's one of their biggest struggles.
Oh, yeah. And I have a technical background in IT and I was struggling. I also had a bit of a background in marketing. And even with the things that you already know, there was just so much more to learn and new products coming out every day and a new latest fad. And we love a latest fad.
The shiny objects. Actually, I'd have to say that I still like those little latest fads. I can't help myself. I'm a bit of a learning junkie and I like to, when I see something new out there, I buy it more as a learning and decide if I can implement that into my business or not. And I probably would be rich by now if I didn't invest so much money in my own education.
But I think it's paying off now. It's absolutely paying off. I think Facebook has got your name written all over it. I think, when I saw Facebook, I thought, it's just exactly what you are. You are so social and social networking. I think you invented the term before Facebook did.
I wouldn't quite say that. But if you remember, when we did one of those 30-day challenges with Ed Dale, he was the person who got me onto Facebook. And I personally thought, what a load of crap. I couldn't understand or couldn't see the value in chatting away to people in it. And I'm apologising to anybody listening to this call, but, I know people want to share sometimes every waking moment of what they do on Facebook. And for me, honestly, sometimes I get a giggle out of reading some of people's status updates. But 9 times out of 10, because I've got my head down and bum up trying to do some work, I don't put a lot on my personal profile, but I certainly have now learned that using that coupled with your business page is a fantastic marketing tool and one that they gave to us for free.
Yes. You've turned it into something else. How long have you been actively using Facebook?
Well, I can't say that I was active on it until last year. And, I'd had that I'd had that bout of breast cancer where I'd had 3 operations last year. And I said to myself that I really want to make a difference and change my life this year. And I didn't want to be sort of somebody who was still hoping that things were going to change for me. So I did an interview product and I interviewed 6 women and all of them, their core thing that they talked about was social media. So I thought, damn, I'm going to have to get onto this Facebook and do something with it. And probably the person that stood out the most was Jo Barnes, and she was, a single parent, And so I sort of aspired to what she was doing, and I spent a long time sitting on the fence, I call it, and watching what people were doing. And that was about October, November last year.
And you do that. So as long as I've known you, you go out and you investigate and research the market, you see what other people are doing, and then you put your flavour on it.
My flavour on it. Well, I'm not sure if I've got my flavour on anything at the moment, but you're right. I do like to watch, and I do like to learn like that, because there's so many leaders out there in the marketplace. And, you know, often though, leaders can be somebody who is like your best friend, or, you know, I've discovered people on Facebook that are amazing, and you would never know that they're a leader in their own industry, or they wouldn't even acknowledge it. And an example I would give you is a guy called Mark Burrows, and he started his Facebook journey late last year or early this year, and he sells chickens. He's from England. And
chickens?
Chickens. And I interviewed him because I was shocked that he'd actually obtained over 1,000 likers in about a month. And I thought, oh, it's got to be dodgy, this. How did he get so many? Because I didn't really think it was possible. But sure enough, I interviewed him and I chatted to him, and he had put in considerable amount of work. He was going to forums, and, you know, he had a whole strategy behind him, but his whole philosophy was that how it started was that his wife had been retrenched, and they had chickens at home, and they loved them and they raised them, and they decided to start selling the eggs. And it went from there that people asked them, would they sell them chickens, and, you know, how do we house them? How do we feed them? How do we do this? How do we do that? And he's developed a whole business around it. But he's also used the power of Facebook to get his message out there to other people around the world. And that's sort of what inspired me, because I thought, you know, if somebody can do this with chickens, surely other small business owners could use Facebook as a marketing tool.
And you convinced me. I mean, I thought, why would a business want to be on Facebook? But every day you see people liking other companies, and you go, oh, my friend liked that company. It makes me think about that company just for a bit more, you know. Oh, they like them, so, oh, maybe I'll like them too. And I might not click the button, but I think about that company and that company's products.
Well, that's one of the benefits of social media, or more particularly because we're talking about Facebook, because if your friend likes it, you go over and have a look at it. But the other thing is too, like most people say to me, why should I be on Facebook, or what's it going to do for me or my business? And the thing is that if you can start establishing a routine that you're regularly posting on your Facebook page, what happens is your business becomes the business that's on top of people's minds. So, you know, if you've got a plumbing business and you've been sharing good content and regular information, and it doesn't always have to be about plumbing. I mean, think of the local fish and chip store. One would say, why would they want to be on Facebook? But if you drill back a little bit, I bet you bottom dollar if you ask every household a fish story, like what's your favorite fish, or what's your favorite fish recipe, or, you know, what's this or what's that they could come up with 100 different scenarios of recipes for sauces, for this, for that. And that local fish and chip shop might just sell fresh fish. All of a sudden now, if you become a page with information and resources on it, and people regularly go back there, what page or what business are they going to think about to go and buy their fish and chips? But that one, because all of a sudden they've got so much information out there, and people are going, oh yeah, Ray J's down the corner. Oh, they sell that awesome sauce, or this or that. So that's just an example of why or how you can use your Facebook page.
It's funny, I've been showing a couple of people who've never used a computer or the internet Facebook, and they think that Facebook is the internet. They think that's it. And a lot of people just use Facebook and nothing else.
Well, Facebook have got a really good like search facilities being integrated into it, so that I think in the long run, if you actually can get your business in there and people start typing, that, you know, will be a hub for people to go to get all that. But no, I think that, you know, at the current point with Google coming on with Google Plus, there's going to be some really big changes, and, you know, they're going to get a run for their money for sure.
And the other thing about Facebook is you can get to it so easily on your phone. And, you know, you watch people, you know, they're standing in line somewhere and they're on their phones, and you sort of glance across, they're all doing Facebook stuff on their phones. It's not, they're taking it with them everywhere they go. It's their little entertainment thing. So much to read.
But would you say that that is the younger generation or the 35 plus generation?
I think it's people who just like to feel connected. Nothing
Because
to do with age.
for me personally, I don't do a lot of Facebooking from my phone. And the reason being is that my, I think that's called your index finger. I'm holding it up in the air, but you probably can't see it. My nail is slightly long. So for me to tap, I make so many errors that it frustrates me. So I rarely use my mobile phone for Facebook. However, I do from time to time pop in there when I'm doing training days and things like that to see what's being posted. And I will like comments, but I don't tend to type because it is something that really frustrates me on a personal level. But I know other people, and I just watch them, they're like maniacs, and particularly the younger generation, they can just whip out a message on it straight away. And you're right, you do see lots of people standing in the supermarket line, tapping away. And in fact, I guess that even the supermarkets are trying to encourage us to embrace more in terms of that technology, because look at local Woolworths. Woolworths here in Australia, they've just put out an app for your mobile phone.
Yes, it's fantastic. It tells me, in the old days we used to talk about, wouldn't it be great if you could have something that would create your shopping list for you as you ran out of stuff? Well, this does it. It does it. And it knows what I like, and it reminds me what I need to buy.
Now, the downside of that, of course, is that if you're an Android user like myself, they don't have one for us yet, but I have downloaded it on my iPad, so I have to start creating my shopping list. I only went shopping yesterday, so I'll have to start creating it today.
Anyway, let's get back to Facebook. So
yes.
I think you've already covered this, but, sort of wrapping it up, why did you decide to use Facebook as a marketing tool?
I put my Facebook page up in November last year, and then I deleted it in January because I thought it was a load of rubbish. I think I had 13 likers to my page, but also at that time I'd inadvertently sort of made it a community type page. And what that meant is that Facebook could come along at any point and take it away. So I went, right, let's delete it. I really procrastinated for a week or so as to, was this a marketing tool that I wanted to use? Because I really didn't understand it. And then I went in February, look, if I don't give it a go, I'm never going to know whether it will work for my business. So I put my business page back up, Simple Online Solutions, and I went for it. And one of the things was, when I say I went for it, I sat down and looked at what other people were doing, how they were doing it, and how I could make it work for me. And one of the things that I implemented was exactly what we're doing now. It was an interview on Wednesdays, and that certainly helped increase the exposure of my page, because I would go to somebody and they didn't necessarily have to be a well-known person. It was like the Chicken Man. I went to him and I interviewed him, and I've been to other small business owners and interviewed them. I interviewed people who were a success on their business page, and I did it for two reasons. Number one, I did it to share the interview with my audience, but number two, it was actually an opportunity for me to learn from other people. So I was very sneaky in terms of doing that. But it definitely was a big thing to gain exposure on my page and help it to get seen out there.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea to interview people who've sort of already done it.
Well, it does take time, as you know here that we're interviewing each other here. It does take time, and you need to put around about an hour aside to do it, and then you've got to edit it and put it up. So it's been a huge commitment, but I did it because it was such a great learning tool for myself. But also too, I had set myself a goal, and I've obtained 1,000 likers in 6 months, and I see people do it in a month, in a few weeks, this sort of thing. But I know organically that I built it step by step, and I can virtually name the people that have been on my page and the people that have supported me and spoken to me and talked to me, because really when you get people commenting on your page and asking questions, not only is it helping them, but it's also helping the audience on your page, and it's also helping like me in terms of expanding my knowledge, or making me realize that I know so much of that information. And, be it that it's social media marketing, or be it that it's marketing, or be it that it's internet marketing, it is all marketing in one form or another. And, most of us have all been doing it a long time. It's just a different way of delivering it.
Yeah. And one of the things I like about your page, that it feels like a conversation. It feels like back and forth with the people who like your stuff.
Most of the people on there over time I have built a relationship up with. It's quite funny because they email me or they message me direct and they ask me questions and I go, come on, just put it on the page, because you know what? I think people personally ask me a question because they feel embarrassed about asking that question, or they feel that it's a dumb question. I mean, you and I both know no questions are dumb, and that's the only way to learn. And I encourage people to post questions on my Facebook page because everybody can learn from it. And, you know, I'd rather have an environment where everybody is comfortable asking questions than feeling like, oh, they're going to laugh at me if I ask that question, because the truth of the matter is nobody is. They all want to probably ask the same thing, but they're not going to.
Yeah. And, okay, so you've used the interview technique. Have you used any other techniques to increase your fan base?
I have also, I post regular questions, asking questions rather than dictating information. And that was a hard one to learn because quite often we want to tell people things rather than turning it around to ask them a question. So you can still share the same information but ask them a question so you're getting feedback from them. And that was a really hard thing to learn because we're so used to delivering text one way, whereas you sort of really need to turn it around and reverse it. So that was another big thing once I got that or understood how to do that. And then on Mondays I do what's called Makeover Monday, where I actually ask people to pop up the URL of their website, and I go along and I help them learn a little bit more about it. And because I build websites, it's been a fantastic tool in terms of driving people back to my own business and has created a lot of customers out of it. So yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what would you say was the best technique you have used and why?
Best technique? You know, I'm not sure of that one. You would have thought that since I asked these questions I could answer that one straight off the cuff. I think it's being there and being responsive to people and answering and making them feel like it's a comfortable place to ask questions and to get help, and putting myself out there. And, you know, one of the things I said to somebody recently, if you actually spent the time and went through my videos and my notes and all of my information, you wouldn't need to retain my services because I give it all away. But the thing is I give it all away, but in the same token, most people don't want to do it themselves. But what they've established is they've learnt that, you know, they like me, they like my business, and they want to come back and use my services. So I guess my best technique would be to give it all away because you're going to get it back anyway.
That's fantastic. I love your work, and, you know, you've just kept at it. You know, I've given up, stepped in and out of the internet marketing thing, but, you know, over all those years, you just kept at it and you've just honed your skills, and look at it now.
Well, fabulous. I thank you very much for the compliments, and please, I look forward to seeing how your page continues to grow, because you're one of my students that I'm working with, and, you know, I do that coaching, one-on-one coaching with people, so that doesn't mean that they have to live locally, and, you know, that's an awesome thing to watch people's pages grow. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been around with one of your coaching sessions. It's very good. You offer up a lot of information. You're very accessible.
Well, thank you. Actually, I'm thinking of doing some webinars, so I'm going to have to teach people what webinars are, so that that way then if they're anywhere around the world they can attend.
Oh, that'd be great. I love a webinar.
All right, Miss Kerrin. Well, knowing here, watching my little time clock, I know we're going to run out of time soon, and you and I can continue to chat for a long time, and maybe we need to have another session where we can just have a chat and share content with people. But thank you very much for coming on board, and thank you very much for helping me with this interview today.
No problem. It was my pleasure.